Thank you, Program Director, the leadership of SADTU, led by Comrade Untitled Chapter, and the entire PWC and PEC, leadership from other unions. I've seen leaders from SADTU, and I do have to recognize them as well. Leadership and representatives of NECT, leadership and representatives of UNICEF, who are both partners, with SADTU in this school campaign program. Officials from the department, members from the SAPS and the community policing forums who may be present here, members of the SGB and teachers, particularly teachers of Mzuvele High School, led by the principal, Mr. Nkosinathi, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor and privilege to be here this morning, sharing the stage with you colleagues from the South African Democratic Teachers Union. It is pleasing that we are sharing the stage with the National Education Collaboration Trust and UNICEF South Africa with the purpose of accelerating the achievement of one of South Africa's goals of quality education through the provision of quality education to our learners, which we fully understand we cannot do and we cannot achieve if our teachers and our learners, as well as the investments that we have made in our schools, are not safe. Standing here before you this morning to present this measure of support, I'm emboldened by the knowledge that since the launch of the NECT in the education sector, we have played a pivotal role in ensuring that we do not only strengthen the relations between ourselves, but we also collectively work towards the betterment of education of our children. As a Department of Education, there are other avenues where we collaborate with NECT. So them collaborating with SADTU here, pleases us because we are in the same space, we have the same aims and objectives. It is also pleasing to learn that the leadership of SADTU, particularly Nkosinathi, is also doing the same in collaborating with other stakeholders, and that we even share stakeholders that we collaborate with. This gives us hope that we indeed are all in this together, and that our shared goal of producing good quality results in the province will not be hindered. I'm 45 Program Director. Today we once again part of this campaign. I remember that in 2019, I think it was shortly after the 9th conference of SADTU, where you adopted this theme of a school fan, that we were somewhere in Durban, and I remember that we also shared a message of support even in that function in 2019. Despite our efforts to launch the school safety campaign, which we launched with the Office of the Cleaner to ensure that our schools are safe havens and that environment remain conducive for proper teaching and learning, we have seen that as a province we cannot do things alone, because education is a societal matter. We have also gone a step further and signed a memorandum of understanding with the South African Police Services as a way of ensuring that our schools and the infrastructure in the schools remain protected. Similarly, we have sounded also ourselves a clarion call to all members of the community in various community engagements that we have had, and we have said that our schools must be protected by all, and we are happy that we are sharing the same vision with SADTU and other teacher unions. We believe that our communities must be the vanguard that we depend on for the protection of our schools. We do so because the people who get into our schools, people who vandalize our schools, people who attack our teachers and learners, are from the community. And it is a united community that can assist us in resolving the problems of safety in our schools. In fact, when we drafted our own school safety strategy as a department, we realized that the question of simply having security guards and think that you are safe is not going to assist us. It's got to be that effort of having security guards, but also add to it the involvement of the community in the protection of our schools. And as the Secretary was saying, all of us have that responsibility of reporting crimes perpetrated by thugs in our schools. If you go, for example, to a function, Ngcobo lenyama, ubona ukuthi kwakuyisicaba lesi saka grade 10C. You have to be curious. Ungasho ukuthi wena uzodla inyama la ubona grade 10C babe kulento abathi uGcobo abamethela ngayo inyama. So you do have to report that, because these are things that we come across. Program Director, there's no any other time that we should exercise our heightened level of awareness about the importance of expediting the program of making schools safe havens than now. The ILS School Fan campaign adopted by SADTU in the 9th National Congress really strikes a chord with me as head of department, leading a department that's constitutionally charged with the responsibility of being the custodian of education in the province. I also have no doubt that anyone who wants to see this country producing a well-educated citizenry must also find resonance with this campaign. It certainly does find resonance with me. In fact, I am a #1 school fan. And I have to be. In order for all participants in this campaign to be able to give us the inputs that will take us a step further in devising strategies that will help us to deal with the problem, we need to remind all of you that any problem to be successfully dealt with needs maximum commitment from everyone. It is for this reason that I shower accolades to SADTU for ensuring that they do not only complain about the problem in the dark corners, but they've decided to come out in the open, and they've started to create platforms like this one so that we collectively can find solutions to these problems. It's indeed a campaign worth supporting. I have no doubt that through this campaign we'll be able, as a Department of Education in the province, and SADTU collectively mobilize all stakeholders to play a meaningful role towards ensuring that our schools remain safe. Having spoken about the safety of our schools, I do need to reiterate again that part of what worries us as a department, and definitely all stakeholders should be worried about this, is the tendency of some communities to disturb the schooling system each time they have problems. When they have problems, for example, with ubukhosi somewhere, they believe that this one should not be Nkosi in some clan. Then they go and close schools, and it happened recently, where our schools in the KwaMashu area were closed. And when we inquired why our schools are being closed, they would come with big padlocks and close our schools, denying access to teachers and learners. We found that it had nothing to do with the Department of Education. It had everything to do with Umbamba. Fortunately, we've now resolved that problem through negotiations with the affected people, and our learners are now back at school. But at a huge cost to us, because we had to ensure that during the winter holidays, we have ensured that we prepare special programs for those learners who were affected by that community disturbance then. We urge parents and communities, wherever they are, that if they have a problem, be it water problem, electricity, that in their protest, which they have a right to do, they must not disturb our schools. And even yourselves, you must say this to your parents. Uma umzali uphethe ekuseni ethi uvala isikole uyojoyina abanye abafuna ukhiwa ingidi ngoba kuneyinkinga la emphakathini, kunama-potholes, ugesi cisha njalo, amanzi aphela njalo, ukukhuze nawe ukuthi malume hayi kodwa kubengangcono mhlawumbe uhayi lapha ngoba if you do that, you are actually disturbing teaching and learning, and essentially you are disturbing a future that I am so looking forward to, a bright future that I'm looking forward to as your child. And also theft, which I've already spoken to, of school property. Again, we have to look out for and report theft, because as a department we have consciously taken a decision that we will invest more in our township schools and in our rural schools. And that is why the ICT programs that were rolling out throughout the province were targeting rural schools, were targeting township schools. Now it's always disheartening that we put such expensive equipment and gadgets in our schools, and the next few weeks they get stolen. Because then that takes us back, and we can't go forward and invest in other schools. And everyone knows that we don't have enough resources. And all these things are happening at a time when we are dealing with the effects of the natural disasters that we've just had, that we had in 2018, in 2020, and recently in April 2022. So our budget is strained by that, and it shouldn't be further strained by the vandalization of our schools and the stealing of the equipment that we've put in our schools. And we must thank communities through the community policing forums that in many places they've taken up this challenge of protecting our schools. And we work very well with our colleagues from the South African Police Services, whom we have a memorandum of agreement with. Looking at the challenges, both natural and man-made, that we continue to face, it must be emphasized that the SADTU KwaZulu-Natal School Protection Campaign is an important cog in the wheel that should steer us to a safer place. I therefore declare that I fully support this campaign, and that as a department we will do all in our power to ensure that we work hand in hand with SADTU and like-minded organizations with the intention of ensuring that our schools are a safe haven for our learners and teachers. Thank you very much.